So hello guys, how are you? So let us start today's lecture without any wastage of time. So we will do merits, demerits of parliamentary system today. Okay, yesterday we completed parliamentary system. Why we opted for parliamentary system? We'll do today also. Okay, so we will cover three topics today: merits and demerits of parliamentary system, and why we went for parliamentary system and not any other system. Okay, so in the last lecture we discussed various features of parliamentary system. Okay, if you have any problem in that lecture you can ask me. Okay, so let us start merits of the parliamentary system. Now merits, as you know, these are the advantages of a particular system. We have parliamentary system in India, right? And because it has certain advantages or merits, so that's why we have opted for it. What are those advantages? Number one is harmony between legislature and executive. Okay, what is this harmony of legislature and executive? Harmony means there is no conflict. Okay, harmony means when there is no conflict. Okay, as you know that there are three organs of the government: legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay, these three organs are created so that all these three organs can have check and balance on each other. They can have check on each other and they can balance each other. For example, if executive misuses its powers, the legislature will control the executive, okay, by opposing it. If legislature misuses its powers, then the judiciary will control the legislature, okay, and if the judiciary will misuses its powers, then the executive and legislature both will control the judiciary. So these three organs of government have been created so that each organ of the government can have a control on the other organ, right? Similarly, in a family, when a parent rebukes his child, the other parent comes and tells the parent that do not rebuke the child too much. Okay, you got my point. Similarly, in the government also, if one system, if one pillar of the government, which is for example executive, oversteps its powers, then the legislature will come in. Okay, this system is very important. This checks and balances system is very important. Otherwise, the whole system of government will degenerate into what? Into a dictatorship, into an anarchy. What happened in Iraq? Saddam Hussein captured power and he continued for so many decades as president of Iraq. In Cuba, Fidel Castro continued for power for almost 40 years. Okay, now his son is doing the same thing. So many countries in the world have degenerated into dictatorship because the other organs of the government did not step in. Their system was not as vibrant as we have in India, or we are trying to have in India. So this is the essence of the first point, that harmony between legislature and executive must be there. Now, if we say that we have harmony in our system, there must be some systems, there must be some countries where this harmony is absent, and that system is one of the system is USA. In USA, there is a conflict between executive and the legislature. Okay, executive is office of the president, okay, which has all the powers, and legislature, that is Senate and House of Representatives, two houses, okay, in the legislature of USA. So there is a conflict between president and the two houses of the legislature, that is Senate, especially the Senate and the House of Representatives. Now this is so in USA because there is a separation between legislature and the executive in USA, whereas in India there is no separation between executive and legislature. Okay, because here in India executive is a part and parcel of the legislature. Okay, as I told you in earlier lectures that executive comes from the legislature. To become an executive or to become a minister, I told you that minister is the executive. To become the executive, one first has to become a member of the legislature. Okay, so there is no separation between executive and legislature in India. Okay, both are same. From the legislature comes the executive. So that is why the conflict is not there between the legislature and the executive. Although a little bit of conflict is there, for example, if the executive wants to pass a bill and the legislature is not helping the executive in passing that bill, or it is opposing it, but this much of opposition is definitely required in a democracy to have a vibrant democracy. If this much of conflict would also not be there, then it will be a dictatorship, nothing else. Okay, the opposition is also required. Okay, but too much of opposition is also bad for a country, for a democracy, for a vibrant democracy. So a balance has to be maintained. Opposition needs to be there. I am not saying that opposition does not need to be there. Opposition needs to be there, but a little bit of opposition is good, but a lot of opposition will stop executive from doing its implementing its policies. Okay, so the first point is, I think you must be clear about the first point: harmony between legislature and the executive. This is the first merit of a parliamentary system, that is harmony must be there. Harmony is there in a parliamentary system, whereas harmony is not there in a presidential system, or we can say that little harmony is there in a presidential form of government. Coming to the second point, that is, you can think of the presidential system as this, that in presidential form of government, the president becomes very powerful. Okay, so in a parliamentary form of government, the president, the prime minister is not so powerful because of the cabinet system. Okay, now coming to the second point, that is responsible government. Responsible government. Okay, now what is responsible government? Responsible government is simple. Responsible government is a government which is responsible to the people, nothing else. But it must be responsible to the people through a body, and that body is called as legislature. But what happens in let us come to India first, then we will go to USA. In India, okay, our executive is responsible to people through the legislature. Okay, for example, a minister in India is a member of the legislature. Okay, if a minister does a scam, then he will have to resign because of the pressure from the legislature. Okay, now here the pressure is exerted on the minister because the minister is responsible to the legislature, and through legislature he is responsible to the people. Okay, so the minister is responsible to people of India indirectly. Okay, but responsibility is definitely there. Okay, but what happens in USA is that the president is not so much responsible to the people, because the president is not responsible there to the legislature. Office of the president is separate from the legislature of USA. Okay, so the legislature of USA cannot exert too much pressure on the president for doing its work. The president can do its work independently. But in India, the prime minister or his council of ministers cannot work independently. It has to work in accordance with the accountability to the legislature. Right? So in India, I mean to say that the executive works with complete responsibility to the legislature, and through the legislature the executive is responsible to the people of India. So, in a parliamentary system, the essence of the point is, in the parliamentary system, the responsibility of the government is more than the presidential system. Coming to the third point, parliamentary system prevents dictatorship. How? Parliamentary government prevents dictatorship. How? Because number one, I already told you in the earlier point, because the executive is responsible to the legislature. That is why the executive cannot become dictators. Okay, or the head of the executive, that is the prime minister, cannot become a dictator, because he has to be responsible to the legislature for every act of its. Okay, so it prevents dictatorship. In parliamentary system, there is very less chance of the prime minister or the council of ministers or the cabinet to become a dictatorial form of government. Right? Understood? Shall we move to the next point? So the next point is alternative government ready. Okay, definitely the alternative government is ready when a government is resigned. For example, if one government resigns, you know that there is a 5-year term in India. What happens if a government falls in 2 or 3 years of its working? What will happen? What will happen if the government falls within the 2 or 3 years of its working? Think over it. So, if this sort of a thing happens, the president will ask the opposition party to try to form a government without holding any fresh elections. Okay, so that is why the point is, an alternative form of alternative government is already there, that is in the opposition. Okay, but this sort of a thing is absent in a parliamentary system. Okay, I think you got the point. Okay, coming to the next point, that is broad representation. Broad representation. A parliamentary system always has a broad representation and a wide representation as compared to a presidential form of government. Now our culture, our multicultural, multi-religious country, having a plural society, second largest population in the world, must have a broad and wide representation in India. Here the leaders must come from nook and corner of the country. Okay, so this thing is only there in a parliamentary government and not in a presidential form of government. Okay, so that is why this point is there in the merit. So I will again repeat the points in the merit system, in the merits of the parliamentary system. First is, the first merit of parliamentary system is harmony between legislature and executive. Okay, harmony between legislature and the executive. There is no conflict or little conflict in India. The second point is responsible government. The government is more responsible in a parliamentary system than in a presidential system. Okay. Third point is it prevents dictatorship. Definitely, because executive is a part of the legislature, so legislature will not allow the executive to become dictator at any cost. So here in a parliamentary system there is very less chance of the prime minister or the cabinet to become dictator. Then alternative government is always present. Okay, we always know that we have a ruling party and the opposition party in the parliament house. Okay, ruling party and the opposition party. For example, the ruling party loses its majority in the house, okay, because of the no confidence motion. Now what will happen? The president will ask the next biggest party having the maximum number of seats after the ruling party to try to form the government. Okay, so in this way we will avoid holding a fresh elections. Okay, now this cannot be done in a presidential form of government in USA. Okay, so this thing saves us from elections again and again. Okay, and the expenditure of the election, we all know that it is too much, so we can save our country from another election after 2 or 3 years of the fall of the government. Okay, coming to the last point, broad representation. Parliamentary form of government always offers a broad representation as compared to a presidential form of government. Okay, now coming to the demerits.